Hey guys, how's it going? Shay from That Student Life Australia. Well, today I'm going out on a motorbike ride. One of my favourite places to ride is the beach in town in Newcastle. Thought I'd bring you guys along, but while we're there, we're going to talk about the importance of setting short-term, long-term, medium-term goals in order to achieve the life you want to achieve. So, let's go. Hey guys, how's it going? As you would have seen, we're now down at the beach, and yeah, as I said, I just want to give my take on short, medium and long-term goals and how that can be used to help you kind of, not just let life take you where it wants to take you, so you can start taking control and end up in places that you want to be goal-wise, lifestyle-wise. So why is, say, short-term important? Well, what I say for short-term goals is more like what's going on today, what's going on next week. Short-term goals are important because if you've only got longer-term goals, you usually will just procrastinate each day until you've got nothing left over in the long term. So, something like, I want to do my homework today, or I want to go for a run today, this far, this place. Really specific and tangible goals that you can tick off today or next week in the very short term, because if you don't have anything short term, then you usually will just procrastinate until the long term's over, as I said. So it's really important to have those short term goals. Medium term, I would call that next month, or say the next 3 months. I think it's really important to every month or two look back at what you've done the last month and kind of bundle the small things up into bigger little prizes. So you might say, oh well, I want to achieve over 80% in all my next 4 weekly quizzes, or something like that. Something that is a bunch of small things added up to be something that you can achieve and then celebrate. So when you have more of a medium term, it's kind of like rewarding yourself for the day-to-day work that you're doing in the short-term goals, just to keep you motivated and actually looking ahead, so that it actually seems worth it, and not just day-to-day of doing nothing and adding up to nothing. So medium-term goals definitely help you keep motivated in the short term. Long-term is then what I would call like next year or a couple of years away. It's important to look at this because this is like the overview of what your life will hopefully actually amount to. Where do I want to live? What do I want to do for a living? What sort of family life do I want to have? All that sort of stuff, those big picture things, the things that you can be a dreamer about, you can be optimistic about, you can be massively ambitious about, and hopefully people will tell you that they're too big, because that's when you know they're real. But yeah, those sort of things will keep you in track in the long term, and they're actually made up of the medium and the short term. Yeah, so long term is really important just because it gives you that vision for tough times, and during the process of the small and medium goals, it'll just keep you aligned to that, Southern Cross in the sky. It'll just keep you walking towards that. Everything you do will be towards that. Just keeps you kind of like anchored and going towards the right path, I guess, and the life that you want to live. So it's it's good to be at the mindset that you're pretty clear about where you want to end up in a few years time, 1 year, 10 year, whatever. Be clear about that, figure out what you want, what you like, or what you maybe roughly would think you like, and then move towards that as like a staple part of where you're going. It's not like a day-to-day activity. You don't go out and do these long-term goals on a daily basis. It's not something you can tick off every day, do for 30 minutes or whatever. It's more of like hopefully the short-term goals and the medium-term goals will add up to me becoming the type of person who will live this way in a year or two. So that's why I think it's important to know where you're going in a few years, so that you can actually deploy the medium and short-term goals to fit that pathway. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on short, medium and long-term goals. I think it's really important, to kind of make sure that you do that so that you can actually live the life you want to live and not just end up in some place that you didn't really choose. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Yeah, the way I get that in, in my daily life and actually, working is just by writing stuff like that down. I have a section, a little diary, a blank diary with short, medium and long-term goals for all the aspects of my life, like work, uni, money, savings, friendships, fun, all that sort of stuff. The things that your life really revolves around. I've got short, medium and long-term sections for that. And I just write down little things that I want to do and then I tick them off as I get to them. But yeah, it's good to put it on paper. It'll really keep you accountable. But yeah, short, medium and long-term goals, I think it's really important to look at that and to actually section those off and have all three combined, because just one isn't as effective as all three. But yeah, that's my little take. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If hopefully that sort of person who would get something out of it, really appreciate the view. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.